tempted by the devil. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." And Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." The devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. "If you are the Son of God," he said, "throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." And Jesus answered, "It is also written, do not put your Lord, your God, to the test." And again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all of the kingdoms of the world in their splendor. "All of this I will give you," he said, "if you will bow down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Then the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
Please join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day. And Lord, thank you for this opportunity to join together and to share in the beautiful hymns and the songs and the singing and the spirit that you have given us. Be with us as we hear this message, and just open us up and let your message actually soak into us so that we can be the servants that you want us to be. And Lord, I ask you to be with me this morning as I share this message. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. So there was this preacher one day, and he was talking about the temptation of Adam and Eve. He said something that has made me think, and it kind of stuck with me. He said, God told Adam and Eve not to eat of the fruit of the tree in the center of the garden. He warned them that if they ate of it, they would surely die. Then Satan came along and told them if they ate of that tree, they would not surely die. Now comes the part that I especially remember. The preacher continued. He said, note that Satan changed just one word. God said, you will surely die. And Satan said, you will surely not die. The difference was only one word, and not really a very big word. God said, you will surely die, and Satan said, you will not surely die. Satan's lie was so simple, so believable, that Adam and Eve accepted it. And that started all of our troubles. The preacher went on to say, most lies are like that. They are almost true. They would be true except for one or two words. Watch out for those one or two words. They are the world's most dangerous words. I've never forgotten that. The most dangerous lie doesn't sound like a lie. The most dangerous lie sounds like the truth, doesn't it? Can you think of a lie that sounds like the truth? How about, what they don't know won't hurt them? Those are the words that a husband would use to excuse his behavior when he cheats on his wife. Or that the wife uses to excuse her behavior when she cheats on her husband. But of course, what he or she doesn't know does hurt them. It changes the spouse's heart. It begins to erode their marriage. What started out almost innocently begins its work. The tiny hole in the dike just widens and widens until the floodwaters just engulf us. What they don't know won't hurt us. A simple lie. It sounds like the truth, and that's what makes it dangerous. Or how about this one, Mary Ball? Everyone's doing it. The implication is that everyone can't be wrong, right? It must be all right if everyone's doing it. Don't we parents hear that one all the time? Oh, Mom, everybody's doing it.
I've never done that in my life.
I gotta go. I can't be the only one to stay home. It'll ruin my life.
I've never done that in my life.
Okay, I did it, Mom.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's correct.
But of course, everyone isn't doing it, are they? Everyone might be one or two kids. And even if everyone was going, that doesn't make it right, does it? Everyone is doing it. That sounds like the truth. That's what makes it dangerous. Or how about this one? He deserves it. Look what he did to me. Yeah, that's a lie Hitler used to persuade the German people to break the windows in Jewish stores, or to make Jewish people wear the Star of David, to steal Jewish property, and finally to implement the Holocaust. They deserve it. Look what they did to us. You know, it sounded like the truth to a whole nation, but it was a lie. A little lie. And a few more like it that ended up killing 6 million Jews and millions more throughout the world. We can always excuse horrible behavior on our part when we say he deserves it. How about I deserve it? In a television interview, an accountant said that most embezzlers are long-time trusted employees. Employees who have told themselves, I deserve it. Look how hard I've worked. Look how much money they're making. They couldn't have done it without me. They'll never miss a few dollars. I deserve it. That sounds like the truth, and that's what makes it dangerous. Walter Farrell, theologian and author of Christ's Ministry in Galilee, he put it this way. He said, the devil does not shock a saint into alertness by suggesting whopping crimes. He starts off with little, almost inoffensive things to which even the heart of a saint would make only mild protest. The devil doesn't trip us up by tempting us to commit some great big sin for great reward. He trips us up by tempting us to take a small first step, a small step that we deserve to take. Some years ago, C.S. Lewis wrote the Screwtape Letters, a short, humorous book about temptation. The book is a series of letters from an experienced devil named Screwtape to his less experienced nephew named Wormwood. Wormwood is trying to get a young man to commit murder, but is having no success. Screwtape writes him a letter advising him to try another tack. He says, murder is no better than cards. Cards will do the trick. Indeed, the safest road to hell is the gradual one, a gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings or without milestones or signposts. Our gospel reading today, tells about the temptation of Jesus. Satan tempted Jesus with 3 innocent temptations. Satan didn't try to tempt Jesus to do something terrible. He tempted Jesus to make small compromises for good reasons. He tried to get Jesus to take a small step into the edge of the quicksand and pictured rewards available on the other side. Satan didn't promise money or fame. He promised Jesus a more effective ministry if he would just take that first little step. You know, Jesus had been fasting and going without food for 40 days. He was famished. He really wanted something to eat. And so the devil said, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. If you are the Son of God. Basically, Satan's saying, here, Jesus, is a chance to prove yourself. Here, Jesus, is a chance to make yourself known. Here, Jesus, is a way to kick off your ministry with a spectacular miracle. Just turn these stones into loaves of bread. Nobody's going to miss a few rocks, will they? People will be amazed. You'll get something to eat. Better yet, you can feed the poor people all over the world with the leftovers. But Jesus responded, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. And so Satan, took Jesus to Jerusalem, to the highest pinnacle of the temple. He said, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. If you are the Son of God." Prove yourself, Jesus. Begin your ministry with a spectacular stunt. Make people believe you. Jesus could have turned the stones into bread. He could have jumped from the pinnacle of the temple. Both would have accomplished good things. But both would have substituted Satan's design for God's design. Both would have put Satan in charge of Jesus' life. And so Jesus said, "It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." And so the devil took Jesus to a high mountain where he could see all the kingdoms of the world. And he said, "All this I will give you if you will bow down and worship me." And Jesus replied, "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Now, many years ago, I heard of another sermon that's always been in the back of my mind. The preacher said, Satan tempted Jesus 3 times, and Jesus stood firm against the temptations 3 times. How did Jesus do it? What was the secret? And what can we learn from Jesus? And the preacher went on to give this answer. He said, note that Jesus responded to all 3 temptations in the same way. He said, "It is written, it is written, it is written." Jesus uses his knowledge of the scriptures to thwart the devil and his tempting ruses. We can do the same, but we must learn the scriptures now before the temptations come, because once the temptations come, it's too late to start getting ready, isn't it? No soldier wants to learn how to put his gun together or get it loaded or even to dig a foxhole once he gets into combat. No paramedic waits till they get in the back of an ambulance with a dying person to learn how to do CPR. We, as Christ's disciples, we need to prepare ourselves and our children now. We must prepare ourselves by constant worship and prayer and Bible study. Otherwise, the temptations will entrap us before we even ever recognize that they're there. I'm going to close by telling you what happened to Jesus after he successfully resisted the 3rd temptation. Matthew tells us, "Then the devil left him, and angels came and attended him." And that's the good news. That is the good news. Each time we resist temptation, the devil gives up, at least for a couple moments. Each time we resist temptation, God sends his angels to tend to us. Each time we resist temptation, God makes us stronger to resist the next temptation. Many of us feel that it's time for God to send his angels to bless us. We have endured more than our share of trials, and we've endured more than our share of temptations. Let's pray for God's help. Let's be faithful to do God's will. And then God will send his angels to bless us. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, please join